Welcome back to the channel. Glad that you could join us today for this very special event. This is my first official unboxing on this channel. Very excited, so let's get started. Here it is. Oh, we're going to take a look at this lovely, lovely piece of equipment. Yes, it's the ATEM Mini Pro ISO. I'm excited about this. It's nothing new. It's been out for a while, but it's new to me. And I want to show you how we hope to use this piece of equipment to fix our problem. So what is our problem? Well, our problem is this, and I say our because this is actually not for me. This is for our small church, and we want to see if this will solve our live streaming issues. Just a little background. We, like many other churches around the US and the world, as well as corporations and really anyone going through this pandemic, we've had to primarily go to online services, online content, and though we can be back in part, we still rely heavily on our live stream capabilities. That's where the ATEM Pro Mini Pro ISO comes in. I apologize, because we've currently used just a little Mevo camera. It's a great little on-the-spot camera. It's a kind of an all-in-one package, but it really doesn't deliver the quality that we would like to, both in video and in sound. And so our hope, this little puppy right here, will be the answer to all of our needs. So what is it that we want this to accomplish? Well, we hope that it will not only connect our cameras, such as the one that I'm looking at right here, but we hope that it will also connect all of our computer devices, other devices into one source that we can then switch back and forth and allow our audience to see multiple angles, to see our slides, song lyrics, all the different things that we need to put up on the screen for a Sunday service. Disclaimer, I am not claiming to be a technical professional. This is not so much a technical review as much as it's a process review. I want to show you and demonstrate for you how I use this device, how it's set up for our needs here at this small church, and possibly that might help you in your journey in figuring out if this is right for you. So, with that said, let's get started. All right, so here it is, the Black Magic. Oh, and so full disclosure here, I've spent pretty much all of today trying to figure this out. I've watched countless YouTube videos, so thank you to all of you who are way smarter than me, who have put in the time and the effort to make all of this stuff work. However, I found as I was putting my setup together that there were quite a few things that were different about my setup. So as we live stream here, this is our soundboard. We have the Yamaha TF3 over there. That is our main soundboard. And actually that's what kind of gave me the most issues as I was setting all this up, and I'll explain that here in a little bit. We have a Mac Mini for our main computer. As I was trying to make this work, it just was not gonna have it. It wasn't keeping up, so I had to actually try my laptop instead. If you can kind of see here, you have 4 HDMI inputs. You have 1 output, HDMI output, where you can see all of your a preview of all your inputs. You have your USB-C output, you have your Ethernet cable output, your power, and then you have 2 mic inputs over here. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in this device into all the components that I have. I'll share that with you here briefly, but let me go ahead and do that. All right, so I think if you can see it from this camera over here, I've plugged it all in. The components that I have plugged in just for this test is I have our main Sanctuary camera. We also have our Apple TV plugged in because that's one of the components we'll use on a regular Sunday service. So we have that one plugged in. And then I have this device, HDMI cable going to this is not our permanent preview, but I went ahead and got something that I could use here, so I'll turn that on. There we go. All right, so you can see that we now have our Apple TV, which is just on this basic menu, and then we also have our Sanctuary preview as well. How does it work for our unique setup? Well, like I was mentioning, we do have the TF Yamaha 3 over here, and we run that through Ethernet cable into our network, which then allows us to use Logic, record all of our services, any kind of music that we want to record, we can do so just through that connection. So Logic sees the Yamaha, maps all of its channels, and so it's very, very convenient. But what I'm trying to do, and maybe some of you might have a way around this or a better way than what I found, but we're trying to use ProPresenter 7 as kind of our brains of the operation, and through that live stream all of our video, our lyrics for words, videos that we might have. We're just trying to simplify, and ProPresenter 7 seems to be able to do that. So that's what we are attempting to do, or I'm attempting to do. So there's a couple things that I had to do in order to make this work. So let me just go through that real quick. So first off, I had to go into my audio devices, and I had to create an aggregate device. So basically what I did is I came in and I created, basically combining 2 devices. So I combined the built-in, and then I also combined it with the Yamaha TF. So basically I was trying to make sure I can map both of those outputs as the same, both the Yamaha and the built-in. It's beyond me, honestly. I was just kind of making up as I went and was pressing buttons, and I actually got it to work. So once that's done, now all of the programs that I'll go into, Logic and ProPresenter, will see that. The other component of what I'm doing is, those of you who are very familiar with the process of live streaming know to just simply come off the board with your audio, whatever your band is doing or whatever, and map it to your live stream is going to sound fairly horrific. It is very raw, it is very dry. The solution to that is actually using a program such as Logic Pro, Ableton Live. I know a lot of people use that as well. But basically any kind of software that you can map the channels, you can do corrections, add reverb, add different compressions, all of that stuff that you would do, you know, on your board or post stuff if you were to record it and you know, do some post work to it just to make it sound less raw is what we're going for. But then what it is that you want to put your that input from the board, you want to put through Logic, you want to use the software to add different components to it, compressions, different things that you'd want to put on there, effects, reverb, you know, all of those different things. We'll put some compression, maybe a compressed voice here, for instance, on this wireless channel that I have here. And so, check. So what you have to do to get this to work is you have to go up into your preferences, to audio, and then you set your output device to the Yamaha TF built-in, and then your input device is actually your Yamaha TF. Okay, you'll see it spiking here, check, which is great. Now, what we'll do is now we will go and we'll open up our Pro Presenter, and you'll see basically what we're trying to do is take the finished product of what this microphone has, all of the sound effects and things, the effects that we have on it, and now we're going to integrate it into our final audio that's then connected with our live video. So as you can see here in Pro Presenter, is you come up here to preferences, and you can come into audio, and as we come into our audio here, we will see that the inspector is tied to our Yamaha TF. Inspector is just when we want to listen to it through our headphones. I haven't quite figured all of that out yet. But our device is the main one, and you can see that I've attached it to the Yamaha TF and built in. And what's interesting is that when I just did the Yamaha TF, it wouldn't actually see the sound. It would map it to the board, but I couldn't get it to map itself within this program. You can actually route the outputs, and as you can see here, I actually finally found that mapping it to channel 3, both in stereo, was what made the sound work. Then I went into my inputs. You can create video inputs. So this is my ATEM CBC, just our board here. And you can see as we kind of go back and forth between these two. Now we do need to connect our Blackmagic here. That will update it. Sorry, I had it all plugged in and then I unplugged it to show you kind of how to plug it all back in. We have our video input, which is the ATEM Mini Pro right here. And then you can see that you can go over to this audio, and now you can attach what sound you want to accompany that video with. And now you can just go off, if all your cameras have sound on them, and you have microphones on them, you can attach that sound to your live stream production. But what we want to do is we want to use all of the sound off of our board. So what I did is I went into the audio, and once again, instead of clicking the Yamaha TF, I went and clicked my created Yamaha TF and built in. Now you can see check, and it's a little delayed, but you can see channel 2 is picking up this wireless, and if I were to show you the board, this channel right here is channel 2 on the board, so it's mapped perfectly to that. So what was unique to my situation is I never saw anyone use like all 3 of the components that I had, the Yamaha TF3 along with Logic, while sending it to Pro Presenter, while creating 2 screens, one for our main sanctuary, as well as then a feed for our live stream that we'll be having here soon. I guess what's kind of unique to my situation is that really trying to create 2 separate platforms that had both the feeds for video and the feed for audio that then I could map the way that I needed to map. This is our sanctuary here. It is fairly small. We have over here our side screens along with our front projectors that aren't turned on at the moment. So let's just say we want to play something off of the Apple TV. You know, we have a video that we're going to play off of that. So what we would do is we put this up there. I would change the setting here to our phone, which you can see here. It's playing a song. And then all you would do is you would just initiate it, and right there you can see that we have our lines moving up and down. If you wanted to then to add the lyrics over top of it, you could do that. If it was an actual song that was playing, you could, you know, the video would be up there as well. This is the projector. Your live stream actually has the video because we want to show the video on our live stream. So you can clear all on that. So, but that's what I have. I'll show you more kind of all of this gear that we have up here maybe in the future if anyone's interested. But that's it. And if you stuck around for this, kudos to you. All right, so there you have it. Is this the end-all, be-all, cure-all for our needs here at our small church? I think this is exactly what we needed. What were some of the things that I liked and some of the things that I didn't like? Well, I love the fact that this ATEM Mini Pro is super, super easy, plug-in friendly, right out of the box. It was something that literally all I had to do was just plug it in and I could just start pressing buttons and play around with it. And it works super, super well. One of the drawbacks is there weren't a whole lot of instructions with it. I know you can go online, but most of the stuff that I had to figure out through YouTube videos, perhaps maybe that's just how I like to learn. So I kind of went to YouTube first. I do know that there are some tutorials, I believe, on their website. Other than that, though, I think that's just me needing to dive in a little deeper. All right, so that's it. That's all I have for you on this one. I hope you maybe got something out of that. It's a lot. That is a lot going on, and I've just begun this process, so glad you're along for the journey, or maybe I'll do another video when we have this thing all put together and I'll show you how it turned out. So, all right, that's it. See ya.